Okay, good morning and good afternoon and good evening to those of you connecting from different time zones. I have just started recording this session, so please confirm one more time that you can hear me well and that what you're seeing now is the first slide of the presentation. Okay, great. Thanks a lot. Thank you for joining our today's webinar. Today we'll be having a look at the upgrade the upgrade topic to Business Central. So we will be taking the perspective of existing NAV customers. The session should last around 30 minutes. After that, I'll be asking you questions. In order to ask a question, please type it into the chat box. I will select some of them at the end, or possibly all of them if we don't have that many. In any case, the recording itself, the slides, and the questions with all the answers will be sent to you a couple of days after the session is over. So I think we're good to go. Good to go. A few words about myself. I'm Rocco. I'm with Dynamics Development Center. We're a Polish gold partner. I'm responsible there for everything around sales, marketing, strategy. And I've been already in sales for around 10 years, 6 of them with Dynamics, starting with AX, then CRM, then NAV, and now Business Central. So trust me, I've seen quite a lot of changes as well. My specialties include solution selling, outsourcing, because we are also outsourcing partner for numerous American and European and Business Central partners. And I'm especially fond of licensing, which is really a joy to dig into, because every time I think I know quite a lot about licensing, there is this exception or this this fascinating scenario that just blew my mind. I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about. So now, after you know a bit about myself, I would also like to know a bit about you guys. Let's have a survey. Could you provide just 2 answers? The first question: what type of company do you work for? Is it Dynamics partner from Europe or North America, or partner from other parts of the world? Is end customer Microsoft or other? Now I'm wondering what other could mean. Maybe it's a competition, but that's okay, because the webinar was open to everyone. Okay, most of you have mostly end customers, also partners. We don't have anyone from Microsoft. Okay, it's ING. Okay, good, thanks. Good. I think that all the votes, all of you had a chance to cast a vote. We'll stop this one. And the second one, what is your role in your company? Is it mostly consultant application? Is it strictly technical? Are you a project manager or leadership, sales and marketing? Or other? Okay, great. Just one comment here. So we have partners and then customers mostly. None of you are from sales marketing, so leadership mainly, and application consultants. That's good. Because this won't be an elementary session. This is definitely an intermediate session. So background knowledge is appreciated. However, it won't be deeply technical. Yes, we'll have some technical considerations in the process, but it won't be deeply technical. Okay, let's dive in. We'll start with a short Business Central intro. What this new application or service is. Then we'll have a look where actually Dynamics NAV customers come from, and what is behind this new SaaS opportunity that comes with Business Central. Then we'll investigate key facts around transition to Business Central, also key fears, key dates as well. Then I'll have a list of other things to consider when you're upgrading your customer or when you're upgrading yourself. Then we'll have a look at the technical considerations and discuss extensibility in Business Central Online. We'll also see how the interface changed between NAV and some of Business Central interfaces. After that, I'll tell a couple of words about our company and leave you with several links to additional resources. And after that, we'll of course have a Q&A session. Okay, so just a summary to lay some foundation for today's webinar. First thing is that we should treat Business Central as a continuation of Dynamics NAV, especially Business Central on-premise, which is essentially NAV 2019, you can say. In theory and more and more, I think in practice, it's the same functionality taken from NAV, but from time to time, some partners report that okay, it's not the same. There are some things missing or working differently. We already have 20 to 30 local versions, close to 20 produced by Microsoft, the rest by local partners. It can grow by the day, so this number can quickly be no longer up to date. We have this new SaaS model that comes with Business Central. It was never available in Dynamics NAV. We only have named users in on-premise, in perpetual and in subscription and in SaaS models. There is this new app source, which basically works as a store where end customers can purchase their applications. There are major changes to extensibility. The Dutch policy side in the most aspect. There is a big interface change. In my opinion, it changes beyond recognition. And Microsoft has terminated the strategy of applying additional numbers to NAV versions, like NAV 16, 17, 18. Now we have Business Central, which will be updated. Major releases will be made available twice a year. So that's where we are. That's it for the intro. Now let's have a look at existing NAV customers, because they can basically come from two different paths. One is that customers who have perpetual license, NAV perpetual, also BRL, MRL, which typically is a locally managed installation, and then we can have subscription, which could be on Azure or installed, or is typically installed on Azure or another external data center. And with Business Central, something that comes as biggest novelty is this SaaS model, which is actually an online platform created and updated by Microsoft, which has the following features. Now let's have a look at it, a closer look at it, because it's truly something completely new. It's worth mentioning that for sure this cloud version is faster to deploy, but only of course in the standard version. So creating a new tenant is probably 30 minutes, maybe less. It's slightly less modifiable, just less modifiable, because it doesn't have we don't have access to the C-side. We can only extend it through applications or extensions introduced per tenant. There is also an ability to introduce modifications by a customer, which is pretty interesting, because before that, customers needed to purchase application builder and solution builder, which were very, very expensive and only available in perpetual model. Now VS Code, Visual Studio Code is a free tool, so As long as customers, developers would like to know all language, the tool will be made available for free. There's also access to Microsoft Cloud services, including Power BI, Power Apps, and Flow, and artificial intelligence, which will be for sure gaining momentum in the next years. Updates are performed automatically, so the customer or the partner can only define a window when can it happen. We cannot avoid it. These licenses are available in subscription model only through CSPs, solution provider agreements. There are monthly but also yearly payments available for this kind of subscription, and everything is included in the price. So this is the application itself, the hosting, the licenses, so we don't need anything more apart of the login to use this platform, this application. With Business Central Online, we get dual rights. So we will receive a traditional license file that can be implemented on premises. Of course, we are fully dependent on Azure in terms of availability, performance. Also, we need to trust that the backup, the recovery will be done well for us. Security compliance, this is something we don't need to do, but we need to believe that Azure will do it well. No company believe that for good reasons. We are, of course, fully dependent on internet connection, so no internet means no system access. And the existing infrastructure will be useless or very difficult to use because obviously this is a service that's completely outside of our infrastructure. Okay, so now after having this closer look at Business Central Online, let's see where current NAV customers can go actually. Starting with key dates, I'm sure that at least most of you, maybe all of you, are aware with this cutoff date, 1st April 2019. So the new customers will be only, it will be only possible for new customers only to purchase Business Central. No NAV on that date, and no downgrade possibility as well. So if you purchase Business Central, you cannot downgrade as it was with NAV. So we have only 3 days to order NAV if you want to. Second thing, more important from the perspective of the existing customers, is that after the 1st of April, upgrade will be only possible through Business Central. So my best guess is that from the 1st of April, we will only be able to generate Business Central license file through partnerships. And in 2020, this is what Microsoft announced, there will be discontinuation of both local client and seaside. What that means exactly is that obviously it will not affect, or it should not affect the existing customers, but if we decide to upgrade to a Business Central after this Business Central was shed off the local client and seaside, those will be no longer available, but current customers, NAV or current Business Central customers, even because seaside is still available in Business Central, will be able to use it until they upgrade, right? There are also some interesting changes in the price list. So I mean, it's not only about the prices, but it's also what's available on the price list. First of all, we only have named users for both for SaaS and subscription and on-premise. There is no mix and match. This is central. So the 2 levels that are available, Essentials and Premium, you can only purchase Essentials, and when we want to purchase Premium, which comes with manufacturing and service management features, all of our users need to upgrade to Premium. We need one license to run Business Central, either Essentials or Premium. They are called 2 licenses. So there are no longer starter pack, extended pack, so like server licenses. You just need one user to start the Business Central instance. There is no SQL runtime on Business Central price list, and it could be more tricky than it looks at the first glance, because existing customers who are running NAV and have SQL runtime on their price list, after the upgrade, they can transfer their SQL runtime licenses to Business Central, but it won't be possible for them to purchase new. So it should be though possible to still purchase and accumulate some SQL runtime licenses when you are still on NAV price list. But that might quickly change. Yeah? So this is something really worth having a closer look at when your existing customers use SQL runtime. And as a matter of fact, we have quite a number of them. And there is also a price change already announced that will affect only NAV subscription customers. From 1st of October, they will be still using NAV subscription, or they can use NAV. They can still use NAV, but they will be only able to. But they will be on the Business Central price list, which is a bit higher. In the scenarios which I carried out with for my customers, the price change was up to 50%. But the reason was not only the price change of NAV subscription itself, but also price changes from ISV solutions. So that's something also worth closer look at. Okay. Now, key fears, right? Some of the customers have such fears on mind. Will I be able to still use my existing NAV? Can I still purchase additional NAV licenses? And will it be possible to re-enroll on BREP after first April? Fortunately, this is a 3 yes. Of course, the second one, provided that you are on BREP, so then you can purchase additional NAV licenses. As a matter of fact, should be able to purchase SQL runtime licenses as well, but that's more my interpretation than what I heard from Microsoft. And there is no announcement about not being possible to re-enroll on that after the first April. So it should be still possible. Regarding the support lifecycle, because this is something that bothers the customers from time to time, nothing has changed in the support lifecycle. So each version comes with the 5-year standard support and the 10-year extended support. So the introduction of Business Central hasn't caused this standard support to terminate. It will run as planned before. So to sum it up, at the beginning we had a look at 2 types of NAV customers: those that have subscription licenses, those that have perpetual licenses. And now, what possible scenarios do they have? It's pretty straightforward, especially for the subscription, because they can simply continue paying their monthly subscription price and use the product as they did with this unchanged lifecycle policy, right? They will be affected by a price change from the 1st of October this year, and moving to SaaS, moving to on-premise is of course possible for them, but doesn't bring any additional benefits. It's because with subscription, we just pay every month for having access to the system. There is no residual value of this license, so transitioning to SaaS or to on-premise is just like purchasing licenses from scratch, right? It's a bit different for perpetual license. So existing customers can, of course, still use their NAV with no changes to the lifecycle policy. There is a transition path for those customers. If they want to transition to Business Central, obviously they will switch from concurrent licensing model to a named licensing model, which will result in them needing more licenses in every case. So Microsoft proposed something that looks like really fair, or sometimes even generous, license transfer. So for one existing full unlimited license, they will receive 2. They can also move to the cloud, so start their SaaS implementation. Because of the fact that they've been paying rep and there is some residual value to their license, they will receive a 40% discount until June 2021 for this subscription. And in this scenario, they can drop rep, so not pay rep, and they can also deploy a parallel SaaS solution in order to be able to use the cloud insights, to use everything that the cloud provides. Also probably to test this scenario. They will receive between 60 and 80% of discount depending on the license type if they continue paying rep. And now let's go one step further, one step deeper, because there are certain limitations to the license transition 1 to 2. First is, please have a look when the customers have purchased the licenses. Because if they did it after the 1st of October 2018, so roughly when this kind of transition was announced, of course, Microsoft wanted to avoid this kind of situation that customers will purchase new NAV licenses on purpose in order to get 2 times more in Business Central. So licenses purchased after the 1st of October will transition 1-to-1. Also, if at some point within the last 3 years you have made a value reduction of your existing licenses, you will not be able to transition using this 1-to-2 mechanism until you repurchase the licenses to the highest level that you had over the last 3 years, right? So the first one is something that's rather widely known. The second one is or can be a bit tricky, so it's worth having a look at. And also, question that I would like to pose here is: do you know your ISV prices, right? Because from the 1st of October, there will be a change in non-subscription pricing, but some of the ISV haven't announced their idea if their prices are going to change. So this is something worth checking. Also, because of the fact that we are abandoning the concurrent licensing model and entering into the named user model, some of the companies, especially those that create localizations, they sold their licenses per database. Now they want to sell them per named user. And if the customer who is on that upgrades to the new version of Business Central, are you going to still pay for the database, or are you going to pay for the named user? That's something we need to investigate case per case. I know such cases exist because I'm analyzing them from customers. Yeah, so these are another points on your checklist to to have a look at. I already mentioned the SQL runtime. I'm mentioning one more time because I find it especially important and prone to be overseen by some. Okay, let's have a look at the technical considerations now. Starting with accessibility for Business Central on-premise. So, what are our possibilities to extend the functionality of Business Central SaaS? First off, we can add an Office 365 instance and use the Office integration, for instance, perform some Business Central activities directly from Outlook. We can purchase one of 250. I checked it yesterday. Right now we have 250 applications available on AppSource, created by partners. But that's not all. We of course can use the Power Platform. It comes with Microsoft Cloud, Power BI, Flow, and Power Apps. And I guess fortunately, it's still possible to create per tenant customizations only as AL extensions, and we can create connect apps not only in AL language but in any language that can provide REST API. And two more considerations about upgrading. So upgrading to Business Central on-premise currently looks very similar to upgrading between NAV 16 and 19, let's say. So we need to do the technical merge and then, technical upgrade and merge our modifications to the new updated database. It will be still possible to do it this way until 2020 when CSAT is available. I mean, until 2020 and beyond for existing customers at that time. And upgrading to online looks a bit different because we need to use configuration packages. So it's basically as upgrading from completely external system. We need to migrate to extensions, migrate our modifications to extensions. There are already automatic or semi-automatic tools for that. And we have some limitations because we are not able to use CSAT anymore. Just the extensions based on events which aren't available in every single piece of the software. Right now, regarding the interface change, to those of you who haven't seen that, I just wanted to comment that, in my opinion, it changes beyond recognition. Right now, this is what we have in Dynamics NAV. The desktop client, actually, it's also available in this on-premise now, and this is how it would look like online, or how it looks like online right now. So as I said, I think it changes beyond recognition, and this is something also I think worth taking into consideration. Okay, some closing remarks. Please have a look at a bit of information I prepared about the Dynamics Development Center, the company that I work for. And so we are a Gold partner, also sponsors of our biggest community events, which are DirectSys EMEA and DirectSys North America. We work internationally, if not globally, because we are present all over Europe and also in the States and in Canada. And what we specialize, what can be interesting for you guys, what we specialize in, one of our specialties is outsourcing. We're an outsourcing partner for some of those companies, most of them from Scandinavia, from Canada. And it goes like this. If you find it difficult to hire new developers, basically we can help, right? Because we support partners through their project peaks, making our developers available for long-term, short-term projects. Typically, it's for a list of modifications, also to do an upgrade or two or three. And our unique value propositions is availability, flexibility, and affordability. So we are available to start projects on short notice, flexible to work an hour a day, 2 days a week, or a full month, and also affordable so that you can still make a healthy margin on your end customers. Yep, and there are additional resources where you can set up your Business Central trial. There is a full documentation, 1,000 pages of Business Central. There is Microsoft Learn and Dynamics Learning Portal with videos, with walkthroughs. By the way, those two will be merged, as far as I know. There's link to AppSource, where you can see all those 250 applications that I showed you. And there is a link to a roadmap, because with the advent of Business Central, it has become official what Microsoft is working on. Right now, we know what will arrive in the spring release, which will be available in April. Next release will be in October, and before October, we will know what's there. So that's what changed as well. Okay, so that's it when it comes to what I prepared for today. I can see one question. I'll read now. 2018 licenses are not available for all localizations, or only for countries with PC localizations released. Sorry, I'm just wondering what it means exactly. The 2018 licenses are not available for all localizations. I mean, yeah, if I can get some clarification. If the customer is on BREP and their active license right now is 2018, yes, they will be able to purchase purchase licenses. They don't have BC or Hungary released. Yes, so okay, now I can understand. So yeah, that's a bit tricky, because in Poland it's similar, or will be similar. We will have our on-premise localization release at the beginning of April, so there will be a small slip, but it truly means that for a couple of days, when we no longer are able to sell NAV to new customers, we will be in a situation where we don't have localization. So unless Microsoft has a special announcement for Hungary, the global rules are that NAV should not be available for new customers from the first of April. So I'm not sure what workaround is planned for the Hungarian market, if there is any. But the global announcement is what is said. Yeah. Do we have any other questions? Okay, one person is typing. If there is an existing customer who is not interested in upgrading, but still, can we support them after 2020? Yes, I think that you should support them in 2020. Um, uh, by this, you probably mean that the C site will be discontinued. But as far as I know, Microsoft doesn't have a way to discontinue it in existing customers, in existing licenses. It will only affect the customers that would like to upgrade after the C site is discontinued. So yeah, I think you should support your customers. If you run a business center on-prem, you need SQL license. Yes, you do need that. I think which will work is 2016. Yeah, but I'll need to consult the system requirements. Yeah, but you need that. We will still be able to use our NAV developer license. Yes, I mean after 2020, my interpretation is that yes, but for the existing customers. I need to double check that. If a customer decides to stay on NAV 2018, can they still buy a new user license for NAV 2018? Yes, as long as they have rep, yes, they can. Okay, is there anything else? Okay. No more questions coming up. So thank you very much. The session, the slides, and the questions and answers will be shared with you. So thanks for joining. I hope you found it informative. Yeah, please be invited to our next sessions. Thanks. Bye-bye.